Out there on the trail, long before fuel injection and fancy dashboards, some bikes just refused to die. They didn't win magazine covers or make factory teams rich, but they kept running mile after mile, year after year. They were the ones left behind in dusty garages, the forgotten beasts that carried riders across deserts, farms, and forgotten back roads. No plastic bodywork, no computers, just steel, sweat, and stubbornness. Part 1 honored the legends everybody knew, XR600s, KLRS, and XTS that never quit. But this time, we're digging deeper, to the machines that didn't get the glory, yet earned something rarer, respect. Because out here, toughness isn't about fame. It's about how long you keep going, when everything else gives up. 1983 to 1987. Honda XL600R. When Honda rolled out the XL600R in the early 80s, they weren't chasing trophies. They were building a bridge. The XR500 had already proven its toughness off-road, but riders wanted something they could ride to work on Monday and into the mountains by Friday. The XL600R was that answer. Part commuter, part desert mule, and all Honda reliability. Under the tank sat a 589 cubic centimeter RFVC single with 4 valves and a simple 5-speed gearbox. It made around 45 horsepower, kicked to life with one solid boot, and cooled itself on nothing but moving air. Weighing roughly 310 pounds dry, it was light enough to handle the rough stuff, but solid enough for long pavement runs. What riders loved most was how it refused to quit. You could dump it in a creek, dig it out of the mud, and it would still fire up like nothing happened. From South America to the Australian outback, the XL600R earned a reputation for being nearly indestructible, a bike that just wouldn't die. It became the backbone for the XR600R and today's XR650L, the DNA of Honda's dual sport legacy. Clean survivors now fetch $3,000 to $5,000, and their value keeps climbing. 1998 to 2002, Yamaha TT600R. By the late 90s, the dirt world was changing fast. Aluminum frames, electric start, and electronic ignitions were taking over. But in Italy, Yamaha's Belgarda division decided to build one last bike for purists, riders who still believed a thumper should bark, kick, and fight back a little. That machine was the TT600R. It packed a 595 cubic centimeter air-cooled single with a simple SOHC head and a Mikuni carb. No button to bail you out, this one fired by leg power only. The steel frame, 11.6 inches of fork travel, and Brembo brakes made it a serious enduro, while its 313-pound dry weight kept it nimble on rocky trails. What it lacked in electronics, it made up for in grit. It was easy to fix, hard to kill, and built to take the kind of punishment only mountain riders could give. Belgarda's suspension tuning gave it balance and poise that surprised anyone who tried to keep up. In Europe, riders called it the last real thumper, a farewell to the mechanical age before EFY and wires took over. Clean examples now fetch $4,000 to $6,000 in Italy or Germany, cherished as a true collector's piece from the end of an era. 1981 to 1983, Suzuki SP500. In the early 80s, Suzuki was trying to find its footing in the growing 4-stroke trail market. Between the little SP370 and the upcoming DR500, they slipped in a workhorse that never got the attention it deserved, the SP500. It didn't look flashy, it didn't shout for attention, but out in the dirt, it earned quiet respect. Its 498 cubic centimeters SOHC single was simple, air-cooled, and good for about 34 horsepower through a 5-speed box. The steel frame was tough as nails, the long travel suspension soaked up abuse, and the thick seat made it easy to live with on long rides. At around 310 pounds, it wasn't light, but it was built to survive anything short of a landslide. Farmers and backcountry riders nicknamed it the farm mule. It wasn't fast, but it never quit. A bike you could trust when the nearest town was 50 miles away. Change the oil, set the valves, and it would thump along forever. The SP500 quietly laid the groundwork for the DR500 and DR600 that followed, kicking off Suzuki's golden era of indestructible dual sports. Today, clean survivors fetch $2,500 to $4,000, rare finds for those who know where the DR story really began. 1993 to 1996, Kawasaki KLX650. When Kawasaki launched the KLX650, they weren't just improving on the KLR, they were trying to outsmart it. The KLR was a reliable pack mule, but the KLX aimed to be something else entirely. Lighter, faster, and far more aggressive. It was a dual sport for riders who wanted to push rather than just cruise. Under its slim tank sat a 652 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled DOHC engine with 5 valves and about 48 horsepower. 2 versions rolled out, the off-road KLX650R and the street-legal KLX650C, both sharing a rigid steel frame and long travel suspension. At roughly 337 pounds dry, the R model was nearly 40 pounds lighter than its KLR cousin, giving it real desert agility. It was fast, durable, and could handle brutal heat without boiling over, but it came too early. Most riders weren't ready for a high-strung thumper that demanded attention, and sales fizzled out. Yet over time, the KLX650 earned cult status. Its engine proved nearly bulletproof, its frame unshakable. Today, off-road enthusiasts in the US and Australia hunt down the surviving KLX650RS, paying $3,500 to $5,500 for a clean example. A forgotten beast that finally gets the respect it deserved. 1988 to 2003, Honda NX650 Dominator. In the late 80s, Honda set out to build a bike that could do it all. Something with the rugged heart of an XR, but a touch of city sophistication. The result was the NX650 Dominator, a machine designed to commute through weekday traffic and chase horizons on the weekend. It was half street bike, half trail explorer, and 100% Honda reliability. Its 644 cubic centimeters RFVC single made around 44 horsepower, running through a 5-speed gearbox and cooling itself with nothing but airflow. The semi-double cradle frame, comfy saddle, and sleek fairing made it civilized enough for long road miles, while its 3.4-gallon tank gave it decent range. An electric start added convenience, a modern comfort the XR crowd could only dream of. The Dominator wasn't flashy, but it was endlessly dependable. Riders across Europe and South America put tens of thousands of miles on these without major repair, a testament to Honda's engineering discipline. Bridging the gap between the XR650L and the first Africa twin, the NX650 became the face of Honda's European dual sport identity. Today, clean examples fetch $3,500 to $6,000, especially in Europe, where their blend of durability and style has aged like fine wine. 1983 to 1991, Yamaha XT600Z. Born from the dust of the Dakar Rally, the Yamaha XT600Z Tenere was built for one purpose: survival. In the early 80s, Yamaha's rally bikes were conquering the world's toughest races, and riders wanted a version they could actually own. So in 1983, the Tenere arrived, named after a brutal stretch of desert in Niger that had broken lesser machines. It carried a 595 cubic centimeter air-cooled single, breathing through a pair of air filters and sipping from a massive 8.5-gallon tank. The tall seat, long travel suspension, and steel frame made it steady and predictable, a 350-pound mule that didn't care what the terrain threw at it. Owners quickly discovered it could handle just about anything. It ran cool in 120-degree heat, started in the middle of nowhere, and shrugged off bad fuel like it was nothing. You could drop it, drag it, or cross a continent. The Tenere just kept thumping. It became the blueprint for the XT660Z and today's Tenere 700, one of the purest Dakar-inspired bikes ever sold. Collectors now pay $5,000 to $8,000 for early Paris Dakar editions, especially those with the big 32-liter tank. The true camels of the desert. 1990 to 1995, Cagiva Elefant 900E. When Cagiva owned Ducati in the early 90s, they decided to prove that Italian flair could survive the desert. The goal was bold, to build an adventure bike that could take on the mighty BMW GS and Yamaha Super Tenere, yet still carry the soul of a Ducati sport machine. What came out of Varese was the Elefant 900IE, half rally racer, half art piece. Its 904 cubic centimeters Desmodoo L twin, fuel-injected and air-cooled, made the kind of torque that could climb dunes or pull highway miles with ease. The trellis frame, Marzocchi fork, and Brembo brakes gave it world-class handling, while the 440-pound weight felt surprisingly balanced once rolling. It looked elegant, but this was no showpiece. It was tough. The Elefant won the Dakar Rally twice, in 1990 and 1994, with Eddie Orioli at the controls. It ran smoother than most singles, vibrated less than expected, and kept running long after parts got scarce. Its legacy lives on in the Ducati Multistrada and the later Cagiva Navigator, both built on its fearless spirit. Today, pristine Lucky Explorer editions fetch $6,000 to $9,000 and remain the holy grail of Italian adventure bikes. 1998 to 2009, Husqvarna TE610. By the late 90s, Husqvarna had fallen under Italian ownership, but the soul of Sweden still ran deep in its engineering. They weren't chasing comfort or electronics. The TE610 was built for riders who wanted raw power, lightweight, and true durability. It was a machine born for punishment, not polish. Under its rally-style bodywork sat a 576 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled SOHC single that pumped out around 53 horsepower through a 6-speed gearbox. It used a chromoly steel frame, Marzocchi forks, and Brembo brakes, serious equipment for a serious dual sport. Weighing about 320 pounds dry, it was tall, mean, and more capable than most riders would ever need. The TE610 earned a reputation for toughness. Its Rotax-style engine could run hard all day, shrugging off heat, vibration, and neglect. The suspension was made for real-world abuse, rocks, ruts, and rattle-your-teeth terrain. People often called it a KTM 690, just without the drama. It became the platform for the later TE630 and even influenced KTM's 690 Enduro R design philosophy. Today, street-legal TE610E models fetch $4,500 to $6,500 and are considered one of the most underrated and unstoppable dual sports of their time. 1993 to 2000, BMW F650 Funduro. In the early 90s, BMW wanted to reach riders who loved adventure but didn't need the size or price of a full-blown GS. So they teamed up with Aprilia in Italy to create something lighter, simpler, and more affordable, the F650 Funduro. It was a fresh kind of BMW, friendly, versatile, and built for the long haul. At its heart was a 652 cubic centimeter Rotax single, making about 48 horsepower, cooled by liquid and fed by later model fuel injection. The twin-tube steel frame was sturdy, while the underseat fuel tank gave the bike a low center of gravity that made it easy to handle on twisty roads or gravel tracks. A soft suspension and wide saddle made it a genuine all-day traveler. Mechanically, it was pure German practicality. It ran forever, rarely fouled a plug, and needed little more than oil and tires to keep rolling. Plenty of owners racked up over 60,000 miles, some past 100,000, with engines still running strong. The Funduro became the foundation for the F650 GS and sparked the mid-weight adventure trend we know today. Clean examples still go for $3,000 to $4,500, holding steady as dependable collectible entry points into BMW's adventure legacy. 1996 to 2004, Honda XR400R. By the mid-90s, Honda had already proven what brute force could do with the XR600R. But riders wanted something a little lighter, a little more forgiving, a trail bike that still carried the XR toughness, but didn't wear you out after a long day. Enter the XR400R, the last of Honda's true kickstart thumpers. Its 397 cubic centimeter air-cooled RFVC single made around 34 horsepower through a Keihin carb and a 5-speed gearbox. The simple steel frame, Showa suspension, and just 257 pounds of dry weight made it feel nimble and perfectly balanced. No starter motor, no gadgets, just a solid boot, a smooth clutch, and a bike that would never let you down. You could drop it, drown it, or roll it down a hillside, and chances are it would fire back up before you even caught your breath. It ran cool, sipped fuel, and asked for almost nothing in return. It was the kind of machine that rewarded patience and skill, not electronics. Today, the XR400R stands as the final purebred in Honda's off-road lineage. Unmodified originals now sell for $4,000 to $6,000 and rising, proof that true simplicity never goes out of style. They weren't the fastest or the flashiest, but these bikes, these forgotten beasts, were built with something today's machines rarely have: heart. They came from a time when engines were carved from steel, not software, when reliability wasn't a feature, it was a promise. From the sunburned deserts of the Tenere to the muddy trails of the Midwest, they carried their riders farther than anyone expected, and they're still out there thumping along decades later. Because real toughness isn't about specs or horsepower. It's about the stories that survive, the miles, the scars, and the memories left in the dust. Which of these forgotten thumpers would you trust on a cross-country ride? Like if you've ever kicked one to life and felt that heartbeat of the past.